What's going on, everybody? Mortem here, this time bringing you a look at Grounded 2, which just launched into early access yesterday from the time of this video. And I have to say, right off the bat, it is a lot more fun than I would have expected. Which is probably, at least in part, because I never played the original Grounded. In fact, a big reason I'm taking a look at this particular one right now is because, for starters, I heard how much people loved the first one. And on top of that, Obsidian and Xbox sent me a key for it right as the game launched, as apparently some people at Xbox saw my video talking about playing Minecraft with my son a couple weeks ago and thought I might be interested. And I do plan on playing this with my son a bit, but with that stuff out of the way, I've got to say that it really does kind of feel like perhaps I maybe missed out a little bit on what Grounded was all about, given that, again, I'm surprised by how much I enjoyed what I played here. But let's actually talk a little bit about what this game is and what to expect. But it does seem like Obsidian continues to crush it with sequels. Grounded 2, though, ultimately puts us in the role of some teenagers who are shrunk down and thrown into a park trying to get to the bottom of a few different mysteries going on. Now, in the previous game, the company responsible for this, Omninent, I think it was, had to do a whole rebranding thing after their image got tarnished by almost killing a bunch of kids. And so they decided to fix up the old park in town, only to, of course, continue shrinking people down in dangerous situations. And when you pick a character and you come to, it turns out another accident has already happened. There was some explosion at the park. The sort of onboarding base that you get shrunk into has been evacuated and there's nobody around. And surprisingly, given the art style and things, or at least to me, I suppose, you pretty quickly start running into actual dead bodies, like some stuff has clearly gone substantially wrong. And your job is to, of course, get to the bottom of that mystery, which is about as much as I want to say for the plot setup, but it's worth a mention that this is fully playable in co-op, of course, and there's a variety of different difficulties. I'd say if you've ever played a survival craft thing, you kind of get the gist. There is a creative mode with and without the bug monsters, which I mentioned specifically because I was playing this a little bit with my son the day this launched, and he was having a pretty good time, didn't mind the bugs until they started trying to attack him, and then he was pretty over it. For context, my son is 6. But in terms of gameplay from that point, much of it is what you would expect from any given survival craft game, but obviously with a good amount of polish here in early access even, but it is an early access title, so expect bugs and the like, and not just the ones you're fighting. But basically, you pick up an Omni tool which can be upgraded to be all the different tools you might want, such as a shovel, hammer, axe, the usual suspects. You use that to help you gather materials to craft things that are going to help you out, like armor, different kinds of weapons, the materials to build up your bases and the like, but that's actually where things start to get pretty interesting, because outside of the just kind of generally enjoyable survival craft loop, there are a few particular things I noticed that I haven't gotten quite far enough into experience for myself, but one is the combat system. So there's a bunch of different weapon types, each of them seem to have different bonuses and types of play, but one in particular that I didn't get my hands on yet actually implies what they're calling magic, but it's like candy staves that can do various attacks that perform what appears to be burning and frost damage on things, so I'm especially interested to see how something like that works in a game like this. But then the other thing that caught my attention pretty much immediately was that a big part of what the sequel is going to be bringing here is the fact that you can raise and tame the bugs and things that you are encountering. This is initially hinted at via the story by them talking about their failed program when it comes to actually taming the various insects and bugs. But one of our goals is to actually get that working, to build things like a hatchery and everything. And according to the game's Steam page and their roadmap, it's not going to be just riding them around, but rather that these insects and stuff that you raise are going to do things like dynamically help you in terms of gathering and even combat in some cases. And that's going to help you when you start doing things that are a little more dungeon-esque, like diving into various anthills to fight your way into some resources and the like. And I think for me at least, that's probably the most exciting aspect of it, is just combining all that stuff together. Again, there's the sort of knee-jerk reaction to this from having played it for the first time was how cool it would be to ride some of these things around, and then immediately they're like, yeah, that's definitely a thing you're going to be able to do, which is very fun just straight away. And while what's here in the game already seems to be like a fun time, I enjoyed the bit of time I spent with it, including playing it with my son, there's actually some stuff upcoming I'm really excited about as well. As this is an early access title, things will be evolving as it is in its early access period, and a lot of that just seems to be expanding what's already here, new bosses, things to build, combat, stuff like that. But later on in their future plans, they also talk about mutations that can occur, presumably altering your character in some fundamental way. On top of that, they also mention that mutation system coming to your tamed insects and bugs and stuff, and then being able to customize them as well. So it looks like that even those systems are going to be expanded upon a great deal, and that honestly sounds super interesting to me. And while I doubt I'll make a video for all of its updates throughout that journey, what I am honestly probably going to do is continue to try to play this with my son and keep appraised of how the game is going otherwise. Now, right now, the early access launch for this looks to be about $30. It is also over on Xbox via Game Preview. I am not familiar enough with consoles to know the details of that, but I assume it's something akin to early access just on Xbox. And it already seems to be quite a bit of fun, but obviously there's a lot more of the game to go. They're going to, I believe, add new areas and stuff to the park and whatnot to explore, flesh out the story, of course, as they go, as I don't believe it's all currently in there. But do keep in mind, it's early access. There are certainly some bugs, and not just literal ones you can see in the video, of course, and those are things you need to be aware of, obviously. So if you would like to provide feedback and enjoy this for what it is now, it does seem to be a pretty good time overall. I'm looking forward to playing more of it myself, and while it's certainly a ways away, whenever this actually drops into 1.0, I may very well actually decide to review this one. I enjoyed this a lot more than I expected to, but otherwise, that's pretty much all I've got for you today. So I certainly hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, by all means, like, comment, subscribe. Let me know how you feel about this one down in the comment section below, but regardless of any of that, truly, just thank you so much for watching. I really do appreciate it. May you wander in wisdom and have an amazing day.